Blue Beetle's powers, he's got like a super six-pack. Yeah. That's what they said. I don't know, that's what they said, not me. Yeah.
Let's party.
My name is Xolo Maridueña, and I am Jaime Reyes, AKA Blue Beetle.
You finished scraping the gum off that lounger or what?
The first comic book appearance of Jaime Reyes is Blue Beetle, none other, Infinite Crisis #3. It was the first one that I bought too. Once I found out I got the part, I was like, gotta scoop this bad boy up. PSA 10, give it to me.
Okay, I don't think it's a burger.
You haven't looked?
What the hell is that?
The comic Jaime finds his Scarab kind of miraculously. He stumbles upon it. In some versions, he's, like riding his skateboard outside of a lab and he stumbles upon it. Sometimes it's given to him, So
how did we get it to unchoose me?
one of the biggest differences between comic Jaime and movie Jaime is his upbringing, his literally where he grows up. In the movie, he grows up in a city called Palmera City, and it's a new, made-up, totally fictional city. Think what Superman is to Metropolis, or what Gotham is to Batman, Palmera City is to Jaime. I know what you're thinking, but in every comic, he's in El Paso. And while Palmera definitely does have the heartbeat of a city like El Paso, or the sound of a Miami, or the food of a Barcelona, what we really wanted to display was a metropolis of Latinos, a place where all cultures can be celebrated. And we wanted to bring the feel of a place like El Paso to the world. Jaime's personality, so he's youthful, that's for sure.
Yeah!
He's a little snarky sometimes, like definitely in the video games and in Young Justice, he's got a little bit of a sass to him.
You managed to keep your mouth shut?
You can definitely tell that he grew up with a lot of witty people around him, so he's had to kind of defend himself. He seems like he'd be a good roaster. At his core, he's a poet. He really, more than anything, wants to do right by his family, and he understands kind of the path that he's destined to be on, and he's just trying to stay course.
How did you get it to do that?
I think he likes me.
I mean, the relationship with the family it's unparalleled. There is no love like family, and that's something that Jaime has never shied away from. And I think that's another difference, is that he truly loves his family unconditionally.
Host acquired.
Who said that? Okay, it's gonna be okay!
The name of the Blue Beetle Scarab, Kajida, it comes from the Reach, the alien race that created I assume that's where the name comes from. I don't know if Kajida self-named itself. I apologize, but that's where it comes from. It's Mama, the Reach.
Whatever you can imagine, I can create.
Let's party.
Blue Beetle's powers, I could name them all. Let's see, flying, bulletproof, arms can change into literally anything you want.
Hell yeah!
He has a sentient alien speaking to him that can translate any language. He can speak any language.
Threat approaching. Engaging host protection.
And he's got a super six-pack. Yeah, that's what they said. I don't know, that's what they said, not me. Yeah.
I think I cut a bus in half.
The Reach is an alien race, pretty nefarious, if I might add. They send a Scarab to planets around the galaxy, embedding them in the crust, kind of dormant until civilization or a planet has exceeded a certain threshold of technological advancements, at which point the Scarab will wake up, attach to a host, and destroy the world, call the Reach and be like, hey, yo, Reach, we're ready to harvest this bitch, so let's come on in. Jaime, though, doesn't do that. There's some malfunction, and it actually kind of resists the urge to take over the world, thankfully, for Jaime and the rest of his family.
Whoa, it's like Batman stuff. Batman's a fascist.
In the comics, there's 3 Blue Beetles, to my knowledge. Dan Garrett, the first one, archaeologist Dan Garrett, who then passed, and the Scarab was given, but was not attached to, Ted Kord, second Blue Beetle, who then kind of used his quirky, gadgets to replicate the powers of the Blue Beetle. And then eventually it was passed on, sometimes directly from Ted to Jaime, and other times accidentally to Jaime, to create myself, Jaime Reyes.
Oh, I forgot how bad it looks.
I've loved how mentor-y it feels, and also how goofy in nature the two of them are. I think both of them are goofy in their own ecosystems, but when they come together, it's always a fun time.
We are going to change the world with the power of the Scarab.
Victoria Cord is kind of we'll call it a remix of a character, definitely tied into the Cord family. She doesn't come out in any of the comics except for a new comic, Blue Beetle Graduation Day, that they introduced her character, and I want to say that's because of the movie. But she is sister of Ted Cord, but she got slighted. She's coming in angry. She done built this company up, and her brother took it away, unrightfully so she's kind of got a chip on her shoulder. And so she's coming in, now that she's got the Cord crown to herself, she's taken over.
The Scarab chose you, but it belongs to me.
I think there's a few villains. I mean, I think initially, I suppose the antagonist of the story is Jaime's circumstances, and he is I don't want to say, he never feels like a victim, but he is a victim of his circumstances in terms of the position, the hand that he was dealt. And then to add on top of that, he's bestowed this scarab that causes Victoria Cord, head of Cord Industries, and her henchman, Carapax, Conrad Carapax, after Jaime. Both Victoria and Carapax are two formidable opponents for Jaime, for sure. Here's a fun fact. I want to say his name is Cully Hamner. He was one of the authors of one of the original Blue Beetle comics. His roommate in college ended up being one of the costumers on Blue Beetle. That's kind of a fun fact.
I can create.
Yeah, that's more like it.
My favorite part of Blue Beetle has been getting to display a family that feels like my own, and getting to show that to the world, I think, has been really a blessing. Growing up as a Latino in Los Angeles my whole life, I never thought to myself like, oh, I have a Latino upbringing, or I have a Mexican-American upbringing, or like, it was just my life. And getting to see a version of that on the big screen for the world to see and to be celebrated in a positive light, I think is like crazy. 2 thumbs up for me. That's my favorite part.
You gotta force it to come out.
What do you...
You're a genius.
I know. What'd I say?
No.